Let's talk about those tech earnings. Mandeep Singh of Bloomberg Intelligence joins us now with a preview of this week's results and a sneak peek of next week as well, with Alphabet and Amazon on deck in early February. Mandeep, welcome to the programme. What are you focused on when these guys report later this week?
Look, I mean, for me, it's always about cloud growth when it comes to the hyperscalers. And last quarter, we saw Microsoft hit 40% growth for their Azure business. And it was aided by, AI. That's where all the CapEx dollars are going. So you want to see that cloud momentum carry on. Even Alphabet saw 35% growth in their cloud segment. So that, to me, is the real sort of ROI indicator when it comes to these CapEx investments. The other thing to keep an eye is there was a pushback last quarter on Oracle in terms of, their debt really reaching a point where a market felt it was reaching a limit. It exceeded their operational cash flow. So would there be any other company that would be put in that sort of basket this quarter, and especially someone like Meta, which plans to spend over $100 billion in CapEx with no cloud business? I would be curious to see how market reacts to, them raising CapEx. I mean, obviously their top line growth has been super strong, but that would be of interest for me in terms of the pushback that market may have, on companies really spending more on CapEx.
Mandeep, I'm right there with you. I think that's got to be an important one to look for, particularly given what we saw in the final few months of last year. And what we saw from these guys, the amount they're spending. Mandeep, I saw an estimate, a number that came from JP Morgan Asset Management. Michael Sembler's put this out, that 40% plus of the GDP growth that came in the first 3 quarters of last year came from the spending of tech companies boosting CapEx. Mandeep, ridiculous numbers. Do you think with Meta alone, they're an isolated case of weakness, or are you seeing other examples of that in the space?
Look, I mean, all the neo-cloud guys, they're much smaller than a Meta, but at the end of the day, you are spending so much upfront with the hope that it's going to translate into recurring cloud revenues down the line. Amazon as well. Any company that is now spending in excess of their operational cash flow, I think it's a fair question to be asked in terms of how long will this last, and then what is the recurring revenue down the line that investors can hope for. And if you don't have that visibility, which was the case with Oracle, that's where you start to see pushback. So I do think the neoclouds would also face that kind of scrutiny. And that's why this CoreWeave-NVIDIA partnership is of significance, because now you have that NVIDIA buffer in terms of, okay, you have some cash that you're getting from NVIDIA to spend on.
Mandeep, appreciate your take as always, sir. Thank you. More from Mandeep through the week. Mandeep Singh there of Bloomberg Intelligence. To build on this conversation, Momei of PSP Growth joins us now for more. Momei, welcome back to the programme. I'm sure you heard some of the comments from Mandeep Singh just moments ago. Do you believe this could be the year of investor pushback?
I think it depends on where you sit. First of all, good morning. It's great to be back on the show. Big week for tech earnings. Investors are focused on who is at the center of the AI workload. We're shifting now from AI in terms of building and training a model to inference, which is actually using it in practice. So if you're sitting at the core of AI infrastructure, like we saw with CoreWeave this morning, then you're in a great spot. We're even seeing this not just in the public markets, but in the private markets. There are a lot of inference market leaders out there, like Together, Fireworks, Space 10, that are seeing record revenue growth. So the companies that are positioned at the center of the AI wave in terms of running and execution will be well positioned. If your strategy is not necessarily at the core of those, if you're still figuring out your AI strategy, then investors are going to have scrutiny over you in terms of where all that investment is going.